So in Ionic, we use plugins to access native functionality. Now here's the basic architecture behind all these plugins. So with each plugin, we have different implementation for each platform. And this is really dependent on each plugin. Some plugins are only implemented for Android or iOS or for multiple platforms. Now, irrespective of what platforms they are implemented on, all these plugins expose an API that we can call in JavaScript. Let's take a look at an example. So back in our project, we've got this plugins folder here. Let's have a look. You can see we have 6 plugins that are installed with every new Ionic project. Let's expand this Cordova plugin device. We use this plugin to get information about the current device. Now, under source folder, you can see we have different implementations. We've got an implementation for Android, BlackBerry, browser, Firefox, iOS, and so on. If you look at the Android implementation, you see a Java file. Or if you look at the iOS implementation, you see an Objective-C file. Now, on top of all these implementations, we have a JavaScript API that you can find under .dub folder, device.js. So our device plugin is essentially a class that has a method called getInfo. We call this in JavaScript, and depending on where the application is being executed, one of the implementations is used at runtime. So this is the basic architecture. Now, let's go to config.xml. This is one of the files in the root of the project. On the top, you can see the name of our application, its description, author, and other attributes. If you scroll down, towards the end, you see all the plugins that are installed in this application. Now, what is important here is that this plugins folder is not under source control. So if you look at this git ignore file, you can see that our plugins folder is excluded from repository. So the proper way to manage plugins is to add them to this config.xml. Then, next time we run Ionic run iOS or Android or whatever, Ionic CLI will find all the plugins referenced here, download them if they are not already in the plugins folder, and then bundle them into the final executable. Now don't worry, we are not going to manually edit this config.xml and add plugins. We're going to use Ionic CLI, and that's what I'm going to show you in the next lecture.